Let's go. 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 Yes. Yes. All right. Let's go. Title match, baby. I can't do this, man.
What?
My doctor and I both agreed I'm not really in the right mental place to compete right now. So, unfortunately, I just can't give you your title shot right now. As much as I want to. I know you've earned it.
We're playing a video game. We're not wrestling at SummerSlam.
Exactly. It's too real. I've been working through some stuff since, losing my IC title recently, and I just don't think I'm emotionally in a place where I can give you the best match that you deserve and defend this belt right. And I'm so out of it, I even left my PS Portal at your house last night.
Pick up the damn controller.
Dude, my mental health is not a gimmick.
Pick up
You know what?
the damn controller.
You'll regret this. I'm not the guy I was last week, okay? I'm not the same person. And you just push and you push. You don't care about anything but yourself. You're no hero. Left your little PlayStation Portal at my house unprotected. Maybe I just log in as you. Title defense. Well, if the champ doesn't show up, I guess we'll have ourselves a little forfeit. And where'd it go? Told you I'd get my belt back. I told you I'd get my belt back. One way or another. Nothing stops the American Nightmare. And welcome back to 1, 2, Ooh, the show where wrestling meets respect, disrespect, and reckless predictions. I'm your host, 8-Bit Mike, and we're jumping into the most stacked SummerSlam card I have seen and the WWE's first 2-day SummerSlam event. I'm going to give you all my predictions of who I think is going to win these 10 matches, and I can't wait to get into it. So let's get into it. Before we jump into the show, I just want to thank everyone who's already subscribed, and if you haven't had the chance to, please hit that like, slap me a comment, and smash that subscribe. Because I promise you, if you love wrestling, you're gonna love these shows, and you don't want to miss one. So hit that bell icon. Now let's get into it. We're going to start with the main event of all main events, Cody Rhodes taking on John Cena. This match has so many layers to it and so much going on, and I believe there's a bigger story than just the belt being told here and the John Cena retirement tour, but it's this slow and dark path Cody has been on over the last couple years. And because of this road that Cody is on, because of the decisions I'm watching Cody make, not just from this last week when he attacked Cena and forced him to sign the contract and put him through a table and kind of heelish action that he took there, but even before that, the actions he took against Randy Orton in that match, the actions he took against KO, where he was willing to put him through that ladder and almost, potentially end his career just to win. Cody has continued to show these signs of being willing to go over the line, and when he struck John in the head with that belt this week, it showed me Cody is going to take this to a level far beyond what it probably needs to, and I think that is actually what's going to cost Cody this match. I think John Cena wins. I don't think it's going to be clean. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I do think that there's going to be some sort of outside interference that leads to this, maybe even R-Truth or Ron Killings getting involved, maybe The Rock. I don't know if they're going to go as big as The Rock. I think John Cena retains here, but I think a bigger story comes out of it, of Cody really losing it, falling apart, and heading down a much darker road as he starts to go back to the title. We could be looking at a double turn here. John Cena has seemed to been going down a road of quite the opposite, where now he's a little more hesitant to do some of those terrible heelish things that he used to be just overly willing to do at the start of this farewell tour. So I think this will be a good one. I have to say I've enjoyed the John Cena retirement tour so far. I know a lot of people really haven't, but I love this part of the story, and I love this darker side of Cody that has slowly been coming out over time and his obsession for the gold and having that spot. So I got John Cena pulling out the win, but I don't think it's going to be pretty. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Naomi for the women's title. I am a massive Naomi fan. I love this unhinged character of her. I was never feeling the glow, but I will for sure proceed with caution in this prediction. I have Naomi winning this match, and here's how I think it plays out. I think Rhea is on this obsession course of wanting to beat Io, and I think her and Io have enough heat where they've been going back and forth that will become the focal point for them in this match. They'll be going back and forth. Naomi will find a sneaky little way to get into the ring, jump onto one of them in an opportune moment, and get the pin here to retain her title. But I think it will lead us down a bigger road with Io taking on Rhea at maybe another PLE card, and then eventually leading them back to a world title match. But I don't see them capturing this gold here. I believe Naomi needs to retain because it sets up a bigger story heading in to our champion versus champion PLE card if a certain someone can pull out a win. Next, we're talking Jade Cargill taking on Tiffany Stratton. I have enjoyed every moment of Tiffy time and have loved it all the way up to this point. I thought she actually had a better title run than I expected, and I've really enjoyed everything that she has put into the belt. She's really come a long way as a character. I didn't expect her to beat Charlotte Flair at Mania, and when that happened, I thought that did so much for Tiffany. So I see her losing this title, unfortunately, to Jade, only because it sets up such a huge match when you go to champion versus champion, and you could do Naomi versus Jade Cargill, and you have your crown jewel match that's going to be massive. I think that would be a really big one. Now, I also could see the flip side of this, where Jade could lose if you wanted to pull the trigger and have something crazy happen, like Bianca Belair betrays her, and now you have this heel Bianca and Jade. You could build this feud and rivalry heading all the way up to WrestleMania and have a massive match. But I don't think Triple H pulls the trigger there. I think he pulls the trigger on Jade winning the belt. You let this cook and simmer for a bit, and eventually Bianca gets involved for one of these titles. Whether she's going to be a babyface or a heel will really decide who she's going to face. But I think Jade Cargill actually beats Tiffany Stratton. And I'm not overly excited about it because I don't think Jade is ready to be a champion right now. But I do see the WWE strapping this rocket to her back, and I see her getting the win here. We're talking Gunther, the Ring General, versus CM Punk. Now, I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of how CM Punk got here. But he's here. And I think there's a reason for that. I think Seth Rollins, the whole injury is a complete work. I think he may have had a small tweak to his knee, but all the reports I'm seeing online are talking about this being a complete work, which makes sense. This man had one of the biggest cash-ins in the history of the WWE. You need to do something to make his next cash-in a complete shock or to really blow us away and catch us off guard. And I think had they done the Seth injury a little better and made it a little more believable and not let it leak out a little bit that it may be a work, I probably would actually sit here and say CM Punk comes away with the win here. I do think Seth Rollins is going to cash in here in this match. Now, do they pivot because of everything coming out? Maybe do something different? I don't know. But I could see Seth Rollins being involved. Either way, I see somehow Seth Rollins' faction stopping CM Punk from winning. It may be that a fourth member joins the Seth Rollins crew, interrupts this match, and screws CM Punk, but I don't see a world that Seth Rollins lets CM Punk win this belt, and I think Paul Heyman will have a hand in that as well. Is it a cash-in, or is it just another member joining Seth's faction, screwing over CM Punk, adding more fuel to this story, putting more fire on it, leading to an even bigger match, leading to an even bigger piece of the feud when Seth finally does cash in and gets the belt, and then he has to defend against CM Punk, who is now irate and livid because Seth has screwed him so many times. I think ultimately If there's no cash in, Gunther retains. If there is a cash in, I think Seth is going to walk away with the belt. Let's talk Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair getting a shot at the women's tag team titles against Roxanne Perez and Raquel. I think there's no other way to go than to let Alexa and Charlotte win this match. The fans are now behind babyface Charlotte like never before because genius booking. You put her with the biggest babyface on the entire card, and what do you know? The fans are behind Charlotte Flair now. You're hearing woos from the crowd. You're hearing them cheer when she comes out. And it looks like she's legitimately just having fun in there, which is great to see. She's a legend. You have her paired with another superstar like Alexa Bliss, who's just a mega star. And you're going to have a lot of fun out there. I think this is the perfect time for Raquel and Roxanne to lose the belts, because it would align with right around the time when Liv is supposed to start coming back. And if Liv comes back and the titles are gone and Roxanne has lost the belts in her mind and they weren't able to keep her title, it's going to lead to an even bigger feud between those two. Even more important, getting to put the belts on Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, let them defend them. You could have some mega matches there with them versus the Kabuki Warriors, and do some other stuff, but it gives them something to do, keeps them on the cards, and elevates these belts a little bit more. I'm all for it. Do I think Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair go on a long title run? Absolutely not. I think at some point these two are going to break up and it will lead to a match. Ultimately, I think they win the belts. It'd be a great feel-good moment. Add something else to their resume, and it happens at SummerSlam. Now we move on to probably the most criminal match of the night. That scumbag AJ Styles forcing Dominik Mysterio into this match. Dom is barely going to be cleared from his doctor's note. He's obviously not 100%, but as usual, the WWE treats their legends, treats their GOATs like pure crap, and they're going to treat Dom as if he's here on a Goldberg retirement match, and they're going to make him face AJ Styles. Completely disrespectful. Just not even what we want to see, but I do think Dirty Dom finds a way to win here. I think it's going to be a typical Judgment Day style match. I think you put him in there with AJ Styles, we're going to have a fantastic match. Dominik Mysterio is going to win this match. He's going to beat AJ Styles. It's not going to be clean. It's going to be your typical Dirty Dom match where he just finds a way with some outside interference or some help, maybe from Roxanne Perez, to really keep pushing that angle. And he beats AJ Styles at SummerSlam. You have to keep the belt on Dom right now. The story's too good. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing Dom hold this belt for quite some time. I would love to see him have a little bit of a longer reign. I think that will build his ego. He can continue to talk about it, talk about challenging for Gunther's reign, which I don't think they should go that far, but I think it's a good story, Dom with this belt and Dom constantly hurt and unable to defend it, or there's always a reason why Dom can't defend the title and he just holds it for a long time, but people keep coming after Dom. And eventually I would like to see him drop this title to like Sheamus. Let Sheamus have his moment, let him become the Grand Slam champion, and let him beat Dirty Dom. I don't know if this match has been officially announced, but I'm presuming that we're going with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed here at SummerSlam. This has fireworks written all over it, but it's a tough match for me to actually call, because if I'm the booker here and we need to make a decision to make Bronson and Breaker really look like a dangerous group and a credible threat, they should beat Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. That would be huge. They don't need to beat them clean because they are the heels. I could see this being the spot where somebody helps them to get over on these two. Somebody gets involved or somebody turns and you have this huge moment. Like, this could be that moment where the fourth member joins and screws them over, which then leads us down a road where we start getting to Survivor Series. And you could do a 4-man group versus a 4-man group here where Roman and Jay have to go out and garner support. Maybe Karrion Kross is the guy who comes and joins this group, because it could set up an interesting feud where Sami Zayn joins Roman and Jay, and you could do these different things. But there's a lot that could happen here. In my opinion, the right decision would be Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed winning. I don't see a world that they have the OTC lose to this group, so I think Roman and Jay will pull it out. It'll be a feel-good moment, and maybe there'll be a beatdown after the match or something like that. But if the WWE's got some balls, we're going to go Bronson and Braun here. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for the Intercontinental Championship. I have gone back and forth on this, but I ultimately think Becky will retain again, and I think it will be Bayley that screws over Lyra and puts her in a spot where now we're going to have Bayley versus Lyra off the back end of this. They'll go and feud for a while, and we'll ultimately get back to Lyra versus Becky, but it won't be until WrestleMania. We'll have a very big match. We'll make a big deal about this, and it'll be the return of Lyra getting the title back, and all good is restored to the world. I was torn on this one because I do think Lyra getting her comeuppings should happen. I just don't think it should happen just yet, especially with the way Bayley's been involved. And just recently, Lyra was the reason that Bayley doesn't have that belt around her waist right now. So it would make sense for Bayley to come in, go and attack Becky or do something that ends up costing Lyra the match and being like, well, I guess we're even now. But they won't be, because this is wrestling, damn it. All right, now we get to the feel-good moment of the weekend. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll taking on the dream team of Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I think it's very obvious that Randy Orton and Jelly Roll are going to win this match. They have to. If you have Drew McIntyre come out and Claymore Jelly Roll again and lay out Randy Orton and Logan Paul gets the pin or Drew gets the pin, it's just, you feel bad all around. So I think you go with the feel-good moment. Jelly Roll and Randy Orton are going to pull out the win here, but I think it's going to be a great match. I've actually been really impressed with Jelly Roll and how serious he's taking this. That punch he threw on Paul actually looked really good, and I'm excited to see him get in the ring. I love when you get a celebrity that takes it seriously, when you get an influencer like Logan Paul, who's a beast of an athlete, and he takes it very seriously as well. I think they're going to go out there, have a lot of fun, and give us that feel-good moment, and I think Jelly Roll's actually going to look really good, and I think we're going to be surprised how much he's actually involved in this match. I think we're going to be surprised with how good this match could actually be. I say that barring expectations, understanding like it's a celebrity jumping in there to do a match, but I think it's going to be a fun match, and I got my man hitting the RKO, I got Jelly Roll maybe hitting an RKO, and I got them getting the win here. All right, we're jumping into the last match that was announced. Solo Sikoa takes on Jacob Fatu for that U.S. Championship inside of a steel cage. Now, I think Jacob Fatu is going to put a beating on Solo. I think this match is going to be brutal. I think they're going to go back and forth a bit. I think it's going to be all sorts of crazy. And I think for sure Jimmy Uso is going to be involved. The rest of the MFTs are going to be involved because, of course. But I actually think Solo will pull this out. I think Solo will sneakily get the win. And this is going to lead to a bigger match down the road. Maybe a multi-man feud. Something happening here that will cook up to other stuff. But I do think putting the belt back on Fatu is a huge mistake. I think Jacob Fatu is getting to a point where he needs to start competing for world titles. He needs to start getting up to the upper echelon. And it's okay for him to come out of this story where he doesn't get the belt back, but he gets his comeuppings in another way. And maybe the person who takes the belt off Solo is actually none other than Jimmy Uso. Why not put this belt on Jimmy Uso? Why not let Jimmy Uso be the one who comes out here, tries to help Fatu, it doesn't work out. They go and they end up into a multi-man match, and they get a win, and it ultimately leads where Jimmy gets the pin over Solo, which leads to him saying he deserves a shot at the belt, getting that shot at the belt at maybe a WrestleMania or one of the live events before then, and beating him, taking the title, getting his first singles gold, which would be a huge feel-good moment for Jimmy Uso to finally get some recognition, and he gets to take that belt off none other than Solo Sikoa. I think the right call here is for Solo Sikoa to retain in the cage match. Let him continue this development of this cocky Solo Sikoa character who's using the MFTs to his advantage. They continue to get wins, and ultimately it leads to a huge war between them, Fatu, Jimmy Uso. You can involve anyone else into this, really, because so many people have beef with Solo. Why not throw LA Knight in there? Whatever. It can work. You can make it happen. He's had feuds with Solo too, and the whole bloodline, so it just makes sense. But I think Solo Sikoa wins. That's my full rundown for SummerSlam 2025. Who do you got winning? Who's turning heel? And can someone please tell me what Jelly Roll finisher is going to be called? Hit that like, hit that subscribe, And I'll catch you next time on 1, 2, ooh.